We want to talk about how that happens. Why did he bring me in a deal? What did we get out of it?
The reason why we're working together on this is because this is Enis' backyard, essentially, right?
Guys, if there is an agent out there, who cares? Guys, Enis, Whiteacre Properties, welcome back to another episode. Today we'll do something different because it's kind of an interview, but it's more of a walkthrough on a property that we are co-wholesaling. So I'm here with my friend Ryan Corcoran, local wholesaler, builder, and he brought me on a deal, which I'm thankful for. But more importantly, we want to talk about how that happens. Why did he bring me in a deal? What did we get out of it? We'll go over some numbers, and you guys will see the inside, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Welcome.
The reason why we're working together on this is because this is Enis' backyard, essentially, right? This is where he
We do a lot of
operates.
deals
Yeah,
around here.
he operates around here. I don't. I got this lead. I was able to lock it up for a good price, and I was going to take it down myself, but instead we decided to co-wholesale on it.
You know what is going to be extremely important, and because people obviously want to get into these type of deals. Wholesaling is really hot right now. Everywhere you search online, wholesaling comes up. How did you find the deal? And let's talk about what wholesaling is and how it worked out here.
Yeah, a lot of what wholesaling is you're really just solving someone's problem, right? And so this specific property was going through probate. Seller lives out of state, had a family member who lived in this property for a long time. Family member unfortunately ended up passing away. The seller is now stuck with this property. He happens to get my direct mail letter at perfect timing, gives me a call back. He had spoke to another agent in the past who he kind of rubbed him off the wrong way. And I was able to make a competitive offer, a cash offer, and next thing you know, we're under contract.
That's awesome. So something that you said, and you mentioned this to me earlier, the agent. Back in the day, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I was going on seller appointments, somebody would tell me, hey, I have an agent I'm talking to. I'll be all scared. I'll be like, hey, he's probably not going to take my cash offer because it's so low. Guys, if there is an agent out there, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Go out there, do your job, give a cash offer as is.
Yeah.
Most likely the agent will present a different scenario altogether.
Yeah.
So don't back out of, and don't be scared. Like I was scared. I'm like, they're probably going to put it on the MLS, get more money.
Yeah, it's not worth my time at this point. Yeah, it's not worth my time to keep
don't do
diving
that.
in.
Don't do what I did. Obviously, our cash offers are very different than someone going with a listing agent.
Yeah.
What's the big difference there? Like, why did this seller like your offer?
Sure. So the biggest thing is when a property hits the MLS, typically you don't see an influx of cash buyers going to it. You've got retail buyers who typically need to get a loan, and therefore it's not a cash offer. They usually have an inspection contingency, an appraisal, whatever it is.
Right.
What we do is we come in, we see a property like this, we say, hey, look, no one's going to be able to finance this. So we are going to come in and make a cash offer.
No contingencies on financing whatsoever.
Nothing. And here's the kicker, if we couldn't wholesale this, I would be closing this in cash like we said we were going to do. And so there's, I want to put a lot of emphasis on that because a lot of people just run around saying, let's make cash offers. Well, if you can't close on them,
100%.
you're going to be in trouble.
Right, because there's a lot of people getting in the business as a wholesaler and they stay there all, for whatever duration they're in real estate investing. There is a big deal in knowing how to close a property, right? Because you're promising somebody you're going to buy this property. And again, if you find a buyer and you make a profit there, great, good for you, but you got to be able to perform on that contract.
Exactly. Again, this is not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Could I have found a buyer? Probably, but use of timing, much more effective by partnering up on this deal because this is your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
So
when I started out, there was this sense of like, my deals are my deals and my contractors are mine, not yours. And as I've grown into the business, and I personally love to share. It doesn't matter to me. I think the value comes back to me multiple times, but a lot of people that just think of it as this is a one-man show, this is all mine, and you cannot look into it or make a profit for it. And it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
The more we have grown into this business, the partnerships are extrely important.
Neither of us would be in the shoes we're in. Yeah,
exactly.
Neither of us would be here without partners. Meeting people and partnering with those people that you've now met.
Yeah.
I always like to say you don't know what you don't know until you see somebody else doing something.
Yeah.
Partnering is huge, and that's why we're taking this property down.
100%.
So.
Like, really quick, guys, I haven't known Ryan for a long time. It's probably been the last 6 months. But I'm always, even at this stage of the business where we're doing multiple deals at a time, I'm always looking to network with good builders, wholesalers, people that are professional that I see out there on social media that come to the meetups and stuff. And initially, I reached out to CJ, right? I knew someone that knew CJ Moss. I reached out to them because he's crushing it, connected with him, invited him to the meetup. CJ mentioned Ryan. I invited Ryan to the meetup, had an interview at the office, we connected. And now, right, we have a relationship where if I have a deal, a multifamily or something in Leominster or Fitchburg,
Yep.
I'll reach out to him because it's
exactly.
not the best use of my time, and now he's
Exactly.
doing the same. So that's where the value is in these partnerships,
Yep.
right?
No,
And it takes
exactly.
time. It's not
Exactly.
like, hey, one call, and he'll remember me forever. No, you got to nurture this relationship.
Yeah. To the people who are trying to get into this game, whether it's wholesaling, flipping, just real estate in general, if you can find something like this, you can solve all the other problems. You can solve the money issue, you can solve the lending issue, you can solve partner issues. If you find the deal and you start with the deal, everything else falls into place. And I don't know how to stress it enough. Like it's just,
100%.
it's very simple in my opinion.
100%.
You know?
Got it under agreement for $400,000. You're like, hey, let's see if we can find a good buyer that can close, right? That's important. Someone that can perform on this, close on time, and make us, a good chunk of change.
Yep.
And you're like, we're willing to do 50-50.
Yep.
We talked about that, right? So we're upfront about all this stuff. Now we have a buyer's list, right? We wholesale on a daily basis and we fix and flip, but we went out, reached out to our VIP buyers because the timeline was short. Ryan is someone that we're just starting to work with, so I wanted to make sure he knows that we can do this.
Right.
And we went out to, I think, 4 or 5 buyers. One of them said, yep, this is exactly what I'm looking for right now, and we got it under agreement at $480.
Like
right?
the next day.
Next day, like very quickly. But that doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Right? Our relationship with the buyer has been years in the making. You are really good at the lead gen, so this is actually, groups coming together with their expertise, and that's why it's so easy, right? It's not like that wholesaling is that easy. It's years and years of repeating.
Wholesaling is very hard, actually. It is very difficult because you've got to be able to market really well and you got to be able to sell really well.
Yeah.
And neither of those happen overnight.
Correct.
And so again, years in the making. Again, not my wheelhouse. I was able to find a deal like I typically do, and instead of me, spending hours and hours and hours and days and weeks trying to assign a project, I was able to bring it to Enis, who, again, this is his area, and he knew somebody right away.
Yeah.
And so, we were able to work together on this one.
100%. So $480 on the exit, that's the cash offer we got. So it's an $80,000 assignment fee. We're splitting that. And for us, it's mostly paperwork and now just keeping this relationship going with buyer, attorneys, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's not heavy construction by any means.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, in 45 days, we are in, out, and we walk away with $80,000 check split between, which is a pretty good assignment fee,
Absolutely, 100%. One thing that we weren't expecting is that Ryan had a closing date with this seller, right? And that closing date, guys, is extremely important because that's what you have on contract. And people are expecting that money to go to their bank account. Maybe they are buying another property.
Yeah.
Maybe they bought a car and it's right there waiting for them. So they are excited to close on it. And somehow our buyer is not ready to close on time, right? So these things do happen, right? And I think lesson learned for me is that when you have a buyer, regardless of how strong of a relationship you have, you gotta be on it every day. Hey, are we ready for closing? Hey, is your financing all set? Hey, is your attorney in town? Are you in town? Right? So
and
we learned that.
And my lesson learned was, from my team, especially at SPG, once we handed it over to Whiteacre, we kind of stepped back and we're like, okay, they got this. And they do have this, trust me. But at the same time, learning lesson for us is no matter who you partner with, no matter what's going on, what seller, what buyer, you always have to stay on top of it. And so what we did was we built a checklist out, we built an automated system out. So every time we do this in the future, we've now got this nailed down to make sure that the closing date is the closing date. Yeah. Because look, again, part of the cash offer here is we're making an offer in 45 days, you're gonna have $400,000 in your pocket.
Right.
When I say a date, it's that date, right? And so now it's bumped 2 weeks, and the day before we had to call the seller. And so I called the seller, really I was heartbroken almost, because you build this relationship with the seller and it's man, I'm so sorry. I told you it was gonna be a smooth, clean process and I hate to do this to you. And he was, of course, super no problem at all. 2 weeks, not a big deal. But me personally and how we both run our businesses, it definitely hit us. Yeah, definitely a learning lesson.
100%. And guys, this is important because you don't want to go back on your word, right? Your promise to a seller is everything you got, right? So we both care about Google reviews, right? When we close on this, Ryan is going to reach out to the seller and say, hey, leave me a Google review. Reputation is everything, right? We both going to make a check and be like, how, whatever, we got a great check. Forget it, Ryan will be fine. That's not the way to approach this, right? Because if this happens again, we'll probably never do a deal together, right?
Correct.
So stopping, learning from mistakes, because it will happen. Unfortunately, things will happen.
No deal ever goes smooth. There has never been a deal that's just make the offer, close, make your money. There's always something in it. So, every time that happens, you just, you make a note of it, you build a system in there, and you correct it for the next time. And then the next problem occurs. You just keep doing it over and over again.
But you get better and better.
Yeah, but it takes years and years and years to build the systems. Yeah. So.
Guys, that's it. That's all we got for you today. I hope you find this valuable. If you do, share it with someone that can learn from all this. Like, share, subscribe. I'd love to see some comments below. Let me know if you guys are partnering up with others, if you think partnerships are a good idea. Last thing, meetup. Ryan was a meetup guest in the past, so if you want to meet people like him that are doing deals in mass, local guys, come to the meetup events. We'll put a link below.
You should definitely attend his meetup. I was a guest there, but I'm not just saying that just because it is one of the best meetups in New England. I've been to a handful of them, and Enis does a great job. The entire Whiteacre team does a great job. So I have a YouTube channel as well. It's just my name, Ryan Corcoran. I have a Instagram channel, and then Specialized Property Group is my company. Please feel free to follow, reach out. We try to give as much advice and tips as possible to you guys. So yeah, this has been fun.
Awesome.
Thanks,
All right.
man. Appreciate it.
Let's wrap it up here.
All right.
Guys, catch you on the next one. Thank you.